Welcome in to Make Your Money Matter. I'm your host, Brad Barrett, and our goal at this show each and every week is to help you create a better relationship with your money. And on today's show, I want to talk about some tips and some ways for becoming a financially successful couple. Now, in my nearly 20 years of being a financial advisor, I've talked with so many young couples, recently married couples, remarried couples, working with them individually. And as they become married or as they start a relationship, and I think there's a lot of questions that start off with here in the early stages of building a wealth plan or just really talking about money in general. I think it's important that we focus on that. So I want to bring up some ways that I think a husband and wife, a couple, can really get together and understand opening up communication lines and aligning priorities. But before we get started, make sure to smash that subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you don't miss a single episode. All right, let's get into it. Okay, so when talking about some tips that I think all really younger couples or really couples of any age should be looking at, I think it's important to start off with this. Money can be a deeply personal topic. I share it all the time on our show. It's interesting how money is such like a taboo subject matter. I mean, people would rather talk about sex than money. It's wild to me, but it's real, and I think it has the potential, money does, to cause conflict in your relationship if you can't get on the same page. Friends, let me share this loud and clear. At the onset of today's show, money conversations can be difficult, all right? In fact, here's a stat that's interesting, I think. 1 in 5 married people say it's the biggest issue they face. That being said, being a financially successful couple is possible, but it takes work. And I'll say that it might be a difficult conversation, no doubt, but it's of utmost importance now to help you and your partner build a healthier relationship with money and with each other. Really, I wanted to, put these tips together that I've shared with my clients that I think would be wise for all of us to look at. So number 1 is this: discuss your money habits, your habitual natures. Now, many of you who watch and listen to our show each and every week, we talk about this a lot because it has a lot to do with understanding your behavioral traits, your emotions. I mean, did you know that more than 2/3 of couples are financially incompatible with each other? Think about that for a second. And that's according, by the way, to a study done by Barrett Financial. Now, when dating, we often focus on what? Physical compatibility, right? But being aware of how you and your partner view something like money is also somewhat invaluable, and I think really important to discuss. You may be, for example, a conservative investor while your spouse is more aggressive, let's say. And perhaps one of you is a saver while the other one is a spender. Wouldn't you want to know that? I mean, again, it's not like picking sides or what's wrong, right or wrong, but you want to know this. Now, I'm not saying to, derail the relationship because of it, but having the first base here, which is having the conversation, matters. Now, couples don't necessarily have to, have the same approach. And I've very seldom seen this actually, have the same approach for success, but there is ways to understand this. And we certainly don't spend or invest money the same way. No one really does, but you do need to understand each other's perspective. You want to share what financial success means to each of you. It'll help you be aware of each partner's, each spouse's needs to feel financially stable and comfortable, both from an income and a savings perspective. All right, now, the second tip I have is then after this, you want to make a plan, whether joint or separate. So number 2 is make a plan. More often than not, we meet with couples here at One Capital Management, and one spouse knows, their household budget and investment portfolio like inside and out, while the other is someone in the dark, and they're often shocked by how much they've actually spent, invested, or even saved. Frankly, both spouses, right, both people in the relationship should be aware of how much money is coming in and going out each month. Make a plan. Some couples find it easier to budget if their finances are combined into one joint account. Others drive each other nuts if their accounts were joined. I always share with clients, like, a good advisor's job isn't to get into the nitty-gritty of how you're sharing accounts, but understanding, like, making a plan together matters, whether it's individual accounts or joint accounts. Now, number 3 is prioritize tomorrow together. Prioritize retirement together, okay? Saving for retirement in general can feel overwhelming, especially when you bring a spouse or a partner like into the mix. Okay, you come from different backgrounds. It's okay. It's okay to mention, right? These questions that come up, like, can you afford to retire at the same time? Do you both want to retire early? Are you both saving enough money? And if you have one person working and one person not working, right? Or is the other person ready to be retired because they get the full-time person? Now they had them at work for 40, 50 hours a week. You can go on and on with this, right? Right here, I think it's important, friends, that an advisor can help you walk through each of those questions and really create a comprehensive and I think integrated retirement plan that addresses everything from taxes to healthcare, income planning, investment planning, real estate, legacy planning. I mean, all the likes, right? So number 3 is prioritize retirement together. Now, number 4, is embrace the hard. I had a coach a long time ago in hockey tell me, embrace the hard. I never really understood it, but it really meant something to me as I grew older. Is like comfort can be a killer. So embrace the hard conversations, all right? Talking about money, again, can feel uncomfortable for a lot of couples, but it's important to push through that potential awkwardness and address the difficult questions. It's important. Let me give you an example. Many couples, they'll avoid things like the end of life conversations. I have to, as an advisor, bring this up, and I know I'm biased here, but solidifying your estate plan is an important process to navigate together, especially if you have kids. So number 4 is making sure you embrace the hard conversations. And the 5th and final is a simple one. Talk about money early and talk about money often. The earlier you can start these kind of conversations, especially within a relationship, the better. Like I've seen many married couples that I talk about, all the time here, they'll argue about money because they didn't actually fully understand each other's financial situation or perspective before walking down the aisle. Now, it may not be a topic on your first date per se, but getting on the same financial page with your spouse is key. And lastly, I'll share this. Being a financially successful couple isn't about the amount in your bank account. I think it's really important for a lot of people to hear that. But it's rather how well you can work together to reach your goals. Life is full of the unexpected. Like I share all the time on our show, right? The one certain thing in life is that we'll have uncertainties. And that means any plan you put together will likely ebb and flow. So you got to roll with the punches. And if you can keep, the lines of communications open, you should be more prepared and really handled for whatever life throws at you, especially in the financial world. Hey, I hope you enjoyed that today. If you did, make sure to subscribe to our show so you don't miss a single episode. And until next time, always remember to make your money matter.